Stone Man, I've never been so angry at chat before. Your guest raised excellent points about absolutely necessary steps for the police reform that we all claim to want. The amount of people simply saying oink instead of actually listening was disheartening. Police reform does not and cannot stop at shuffling funds away from police departments. We have bad cops, but we also have bad people making the rules that apply to all cops, good and bad. Yeah, I mean, I think, like, look, the theory, I think, goes that if you have, any type of reform, you're necessarily letting the air out of the idea of defunding the police, and I'm not sure I buy that.
Also, the idea that everyone wants to defund the police. Like Eric Adams just won the primary in New York City, and he's a former cop, and he said he doesn't want to defund the police.
Well, I mean, I think that you can just look at the data. I think the idea that there's broad support for structurally changing what the police do, I think that's the case. When you really walk through it, I don't think that Eric Adams won because of that, but it obviously wasn't enough of an issue with enough people to vote against him because of it.
I think Catherine Garcia did better because of it than Eric Adams did better because of it. Eric Adams put together a coalition as someone who had name ID and still wanted to reform. He's still a police officer, a captain, and wanted to reform the police in his own way. So he was still leaning in on it, but trustworthy to his base. But I think Catherine Garcia is the one that, kind of tapped into the white liberals, the NIMBYs, who were like, yeah, I don't really want to get rid of the police because I still read the New York Daily News every morning and see the covers of the Post. And I think I'm a progressive, but I'm actually really not. I'm kind of a racist white mom.
There has to be some, at the very least. I think that there is an argument that you need a very clear and sometimes as sort of you need to from an activist perspective, you need to approach the furthest reaches that you can for a goal so that there is room for stuff to happen between where we are now and that goal, right? So I'm a little bit more agnostic on the sort of the question of, defund the police. Was that the most effective, slogan or whatnot? It was the one that worked to the extent that things worked. I mean, it's really easy after the fact to say you should say something else. And because, well, it's not like there wasn't an opportunity for somebody to do that, right? I mean, this is what happened. To the extent that we got some movement on this stuff, it was around that. I think from a policy standpoint, there are people who want to completely abolish the police. I don't know that it's really people who are even who are living in communities most subjected to the type of policing that we don't want. There's a polling from Detroit saying that well, we just want better policing, not no policing, because we have crime here. But that's also very hard to sort of disaggregate from all the social ills that are not being addressed in these communities. And maybe if these communities had the investment from our government, that they wouldn't need it. My point is that it's far more nuanced, folks. There's more of what you've just saw where that came from. That's if you hit the subscribe and like button. Thank you. Really, thank you.